I want to lead us now into a discussion of asexuality and how it relates to both queer theory and later Christianity. I'm going to start with a definition of asexuality from Katie Linder, and she says that asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction. Pretty straightforward. Now, this is separate from whether a person has sex, can enjoy sex, or even wants to masturbate. It's the actions and the attraction are separate. A person can also have romantic attraction to other individuals, and that is a separate spectrum from the sexual spectrum. Now, this is not celibacy. This is not a choice to abstain from sexual activities. You can't abstain from something that you have no interest in. It's also not a medical issue, and it is not a result of sexual trauma. There are many sexual people who have experienced trauma, and there are many asexual people who have not. These are distinct things. This is also, as I just mentioned, the romantic spectrum. Aromanticism is also a thing where people have a lack of romantic attraction. Sometimes people are aro-ace, sometimes they're just separate. So it was frustrating how many of the texts we read that were otherwise inclusive would use all of the letters in LGBTQIA except for the A. I remember Lightsey had a quote about the ambiguity of the definition for queer, but it was still based on people being sexual beings. Same with later, she's talking about how queer life is so much more than just sexual activity. But yet again, when she lists all the different people that are within the queer label, she lists gay men, lesbian women, bisexual people, transsexual people, intersex people, anyone except for the asexual group and the aromantic group, those parts of the spectrum. I'd also like to reiterate, I meant to say it earlier, that asexuality is a spectrum like any other. There, just as bisexuality can have more attraction towards women than towards men, even though you have both. Asexuality, some people feel sexual attraction, but only in very limited circumstances. These people still fall under the spectrum. Queer theory especially needs to be a lot more careful about gatekeeping queerness. There's a lot of stigma and quiet discrimination, especially saying that asexuality is a medical issue. In general, anyone who is queer has been on the other side of gatekeeping and exclusion. So, first of all, just doesn't make sense to be the one doing it. We know better. But also, asexual people are very non-normative in a heavily sexual society. Treating us as heterosexual light, it only leads to stigma, medicalization of sexuality, and general mental health issues, as it is for other young queer individuals. Honestly, even just having more research to show that asexuality as an identity is an option for young people would help so many teens. It just show them that they're not broken when everyone says that part of a healthy relationship is your sex life. And having no analysis or literature on it just contributes to systemic exclusion. And at worst, there's always quote-unquote corrective rape, which is not limited to asexual individuals, but generally this applies to queer individuals when cis or straight people think that they can fix you. And the more that we refuse to talk about and study these identities, the more we contribute to showcasing them as abnormal and something that needs fixing. And also just asexuality is very much, non-normative in that it fights the nuclear family structure because you are less likely to be dating someone who also wants kids biologically, or to be in a heterosexual seeming couple. There's a thing called queer platonic relationships as well, which falls right into the ambiguity of queer family and chosen relationships in general. Queer platonic is separate from romantic attraction and from platonic attraction. It's kind of mixing the cultural norms about who you'll spend your life with. Like you will partner with someone, maybe marry them even, and it's not because you're romantically or sexually attracted to them, it's because you're a life partner. And it's a little deeper than just friendship, and it's very hard to define, as most queer things are. But asexual people and aromantic people as well are much more likely to fall into non-normative relationships because like straight and allosexual, aka not asexual people, are less likely to be satisfied in relationships with them.